Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Dhamma of Peace series, number 17. The full Dhamma of Buddha. Buddha taught us only full Dhamma. One to understand, one to abandon, one to realize, and the fourth one to develop, to attain supreme peace or Nibbana. One must understand the true nature of suffering. Dukkha Sissa, the noble truth of suffering, clearly, sharply, and precisely, in detail. It is not a superficial or intellectual understanding, but thorough direct experience of the true nature of suffering. Dukkha Sissa. The second Dhamma is to abandon. To abandon the immediate cause of suffering. In Pali it's called Samudaya Sissa, the cause of suffering. And the cause of suffering is craving and attachment. When craving becomes more intense and stronger, it becomes attachment. In Pali it's called Tanha, craving, and Upadana, attachment or grasping. We emphasize on the word immediate cause of suffering. But there are also distant causes, root causes as well, which we will discuss in some other talks. The third Dhamma is to realize the true nature of the cessation of suffering. The cessation of suffering means cessation of mind and matter, this body and consciousness. That one is beyond the domain of mind and matter. So you can't describe with any words that we know, which is the world of materiality and mentality. That's why one can only realize, an individual person must realize for himself or herself. Cannot pass on, cannot explain, cannot share. one self-effort is required. And the third Dhamma is Nirodha Sissa. It's a third noble truth. Nirodha Sissa. The fourth Dhamma is to develop. One must develop it, one must culture it. What do you develop? You develop the Noble Eightfold Path. There are two parts of Noble Eightfold Path. One is while you are still practicing, trying to possess the Eightfold Noble Path as their own personal possession. So, preliminary to the Noble Eightfold Path. The second one is one become the Noble Eightfold Path, and Noble Eightfold Path is the one and only. In other words, it is indistinguishable, one's own possession, one's own achievement or attainment. And that is called Mega Sissa, the noble truth of the path. So there are four Dhammas, one to understand, one to abandon, one to realize, and the fourth one to develop, to attain supreme peace. One understands the true nature of suffering when one experiences the constant rising and passing away of mind and matter. In Pali it's called anicca, impermanence. Anicca, impermanence. The experience of the unceasing oppression of the passing away upon mind and matter is dukkha, suffering. The second marks of the three common characteristics of mind and matter. And when one experiences the unceasing oppression of the passing away of mind and matter, one don't want to have any more mind and matter because they know it is not dependable. Anything that is breaking down, passing away, cannot be dependent. It is not dependent. Craving and attachment, the cause of suffering, is automatically abandoned when a person has no more desire to have a mind and body, or simply call it life or existence. When you don't want those existence or life, that person is free from craving. Once one has abandoned this craving attachment, there is no more volitional activities. All volitional activities come from grasping and attachment. When you don't have that, volitional activities stop. So, when there is no volitional activities, there is no more wholesome actions or unwholesome actions. Or you can call it wholesome karma or unwholesome karma. No volitional activities, no wholesome or unwholesome karma. And when there is no more wholesome or unwholesome karma, which means rebirth has ended, it stopped. When one dies without the wholesome and unwholesome karma, there is no more rebirth. That means rebirth stopped, rebirth ended. And that is Nirodha Sissa, or the cessation of all suffering. So, those are the four Dhamma. One to understand, one to abandon, one to realize, and one to develop. And that experiential understanding of the true nature of suffering give rise to Nibbana. Of course, to understand the true nature of suffering, one must practice or develop the Dhamma. Dhamma to develop must be put into action, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. Altogether 8 of them, but it can be condensed and presented as 3 groups. Morality group, Sila or precept, concentration group, Samadhi, and wisdom group, Pinya. So those 3 groups, if you practice properly, will eliminate all suffering. It all started with faith and confidence, verifiable faith and confidence, Saddha, which leads to the ardent effort to be constantly mindful. That will give rise to concentration, which blossoms the wisdom. The wisdom of what? The wisdom to experientially know and understand the Full Noble Truth. May all of you be able to practice mindfulness inside meditation and attain the Full Noble Truth or the Full Dhamma and attain supreme peace, Nibbana, as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, Sadhu. Thank you very much.